My name is Sophie Grant, and maps are my world. At my tidy desk, I was meticulously drawing a fictional city, a place of precise angles and perfect symmetry. My silver fountain pen glided across the parchment, creating delicate lines for every street and building. The room was quiet, filled only with the soft scratch of my pen as I focused completely on the intricate details of my creation. I leaned back, admiring the finished map of Ethelberg, a city born from my imagination. It was perfect, yet something felt missing, a subtle emptiness I couldn't quite name. A quiet sigh escaped my lips as I gazed at the intricate streets, feeling a familiar pang of loneliness. Although my work was complete, it lacked a certain spark, a wildness that my structured mind couldn't quite conjure. A few days later, I found myself browsing a small, cluttered antique shop, seeking inspiration. Dust motes danced in the shafts of sunlight, illuminating forgotten treasures. My eyes scanned the overflowing shelves, filled with old books and peculiar trinkets. Then, tucked away on a dusty upper shelf, I spotted it. A simple, aged dark green cardboard box, looking like a forgotten document holder. I felt an immediate pull of curiosity. I bought the box, a strange excitement bubbling within me. Back home, in the familiar comfort of my studio, I carefully placed it on my desk. My hands trembled slightly as I unhooked the elastic loop that held it closed. Inside, I found several rolled-up sheets of high-quality, yellowed parchment paper. With bated breath, I gently unrolled the first unfinished map, wondering what secrets it held. The map revealed a sprawling coastline drawn with wild, expressive lines that seemed to dance across the page. It was unlike anything I had ever created, full of untamed energy and spontaneous beauty. There were no precise grids or perfect angles, just raw, flowing artistry. I was utterly fascinated by the unknown artist's distinctive style, feeling a surge of admiration and inspiration. It was a world waiting to be explored. A new purpose ignited within me. I decided I would complete this mysterious map. Taking my sleek silver fountain pen filled with black ink, I carefully approached the unfinished coastline. My precise lines began to merge with the wild ones, adding a detailed port city where the coastline met the sea. It was a challenge to blend my structured style with the artist's free-flowing vision, but I was determined to create something beautiful. Proud of the unique result, I carefully took a high-quality photo of the completed map. Then, I posted it on my art blog, explaining the fascinating collaboration with a ghost artist. I described how I had found the unfinished work and felt compelled to add my own touch. I hoped someone out there might recognize the original style, or perhaps even the artist themselves. It was a message sent into the unknown. Miles away, in a much messier apartment, Oliver Hayes was lazily scrolling through his phone. His dark, curly hair was a bit disheveled, and he had a few days of stubble. He was looking at various art blogs, as he often did, when suddenly his thumb froze. His eyes widened, fixed on the screen, a look of pure shock spreading across his face. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was his map. The wild coastline, the expressive lines, there was no mistaking it. But now it was beautifully completed with a detailed port city, a new element he had never imagined. A wave of conflicting emotions washed over him: surprise, a touch of disbelief, and a strange sense of intrigue. He had abandoned that map years ago, never thinking he'd see it again, let alone finished. His heart pounded with a mix of nervousness and a sudden, strong urge to connect. After a moment of hesitation, he knew he had to reach out. He found the contact form on Sophie's blog, his fingers hovering over the tiny keyboard. Taking a deep breath, Oliver began to type a message, his voice, though silent, filled with a decisive curiosity. "Where did you find my map?" he wrote. "I was reviewing some old survey maps on my laptop when a notification popped up. It was from the online art platform. Someone had commented on the unfinished map I had uploaded months ago." My heart started to beat faster as I read the message. It said, "This is incredible. I drew this years ago. I thought it was lost forever." I quickly typed a reply, asking for more details. The user, who called himself Oliver Hayes, responded almost immediately. He explained that he had drawn a series of fantasy maps years ago, but had lost them during a move. He had simply lost inspiration to finish them on his own. His messages were enthusiastic, but also a little cautious. We exchanged a few more messages over the next couple of days. Oliver mentioned he had found a few other unfinished maps. He suggested we meet to discuss them, perhaps even work on them together. I felt a mix of nerves and excitement. We agreed to meet at a quiet coffee shop near the university, a place I knew well. The day of the meeting arrived. I spotted Oliver sitting at a corner table, looking a little nervous himself. He had slightly messy, dark curly hair and a friendly smile. We were both a little shy at first, but our shared passion for maps quickly broke the ice. We exchanged warm smiles and the initial awkwardness began to fade. Oliver had brought his map box, a simple, aged dark green cardboard box. He carefully pulled out another rolled-up sheet of parchment. We spread it out on the small table between us. It showed a vast, empty mountain range, beautifully sketched but unfinished. We both leaned in, our eyes tracing the delicate line work, feeling a shared sense of engagement. As we discussed how to complete the map, our different styles became clear. Oliver wanted to add a chaotic dragon's lair with jagged peaks and scorch marks. He spoke with passion, his hands gesturing wildly. I, however, imagined a hidden, logical dwarven city with precise tunnels and strong fortifications. We began to argue, our voices growing a little tense. Our creative differences were very clear. I wanted order, he wanted chaos. Neither of us wanted to give in. The conversation became difficult, and the easy warmth we had felt earlier faded. The meeting ended with some tension, and a sense of disappointment hung in the air. We rolled up the map in silence. Back in my apartment, I still felt frustrated. His idea of a dragon's lair seemed so messy, so unorganized. But then I picked up one of my duotone pens, the silver one, and tried to draw a messy, expressive dragon. I tried to capture his wild style. It didn't feel right. My lines were too precise, too controlled. Meanwhile, in his own apartment, Oliver was having a similar struggle. He tried to draw a structured city with a ruler, just as I would have. He used his brass-colored duotone pen, but his hand felt awkward with the straight lines. He got annoyed, crumpled the paper, and tossed it aside. It was clear that our styles were truly opposite. Later that evening, an idea sparked in my mind. It was a compromise, a way to combine our different visions. I immediately grabbed my laptop, feeling a surge of hope. I typed a message to Oliver, a simple question that might bridge the gap. What if the dwarves built their city inside the dragon's old mountain home? I sent it and waited. Oliver looked at his phone, a slow smile spreading across his face. He had read my message about trying a new approach. His reply was simple: "Yes, let's try again." A wave of relief washed over me. We had found our way back to the table, ready to create. We started working together at my apartment. I focused on the precise lines of a sprawling city, its buildings and roads forming an organized grid. Oliver, with his brass-colored pen, added the wild, natural elements. He drew winding rivers and intricate cave systems that embraced the city's edges. Our pens danced across the parchment. Our black and sepia ink lines began to blend perfectly on the page. The sharp angles of my city met the flowing curves of Oliver's wilderness. It was a visual representation of our distinct styles finding harmony. The map was becoming more than just a drawing. It was a conversation. It was a beautiful confluence. We laughed as we worked, sharing stories about our lives. Oliver told me about his childhood adventures exploring local woods. I spoke about my fascination with old atlases and forgotten towns. A comfortable silence often filled the room, broken by a shared chuckle. A true friendship was quietly growing between us. One night, we worked late, lost in the details of a new coastline. As Oliver reached for a specific point on the map, his hand brushed against mine. It was a light, accidental touch, but we both froze. Our eyes met across the parchment, and the air seemed to thicken. The moment stretched, tender, and unexpected. The moment passed, and we quickly pulled our hands away, but the atmosphere in the room had undeniably changed. A new awareness now existed between us, a subtle shift in our connection. It was like a new line had been drawn, not on the map, but between our hearts. Our friendship felt deeper, more intimate. Our collection of completed maps was growing steadily. Each one was a testament to our collaboration, a unique blend of our visions. We often spread them across the floor of my apartment, admiring our work. There were bustling cities, mysterious forests, and calm, winding rivers. We felt a deep sense of shared pride and accomplishment. My blog, where I shared our map-making journey, started getting a lot of attention. People loved the unique blend of precision and wildness in our designs. One afternoon, I received an email from a local art gallery. They wanted to exhibit our collaborative maps. It was an exciting and validating moment for us. We decided to celebrate the good news that evening. Oliver suggested a small, cozy restaurant he knew. We talked about the exhibition, our future plans, and everything in between. The conversation flowed easily, and our laughter filled the air. It felt less like a celebration and more like a date. Back at my apartment, we looked at the map box. Only one map was left inside, rolled and waiting. It was the largest and most challenging one we had. This final map represented our ultimate test, a culmination of our journey. It felt significant, almost daunting. We were about to start the final map, a feeling of excitement in the air. Then, Oliver's phone buzzed. He checked his email, and his cheerful face changed. His brow furrowed, and a serious expression settled on him. It was a job offer for a graphic design position, a good one, but in a city far away. His hand, holding the phone, trembled slightly. He told me about the offer, his voice quiet. I tried to smile, to show him I was happy for his success, but a cold knot formed in my stomach. My eyes, I knew, betrayed my true feelings. A wave of disappointment washed over me, despite my efforts to hide it. The silence between us grew heavy, filled with unspoken fears. We began working on the final map, but the usual joy was gone. Our pens moved across the parchment in silence. The air felt thick with unspoken feelings, a heavy weight pressing down on us. Each line we drew felt like a sigh, a quiet lament. Our usual easy conversation had vanished, replaced by the scratch of ink on paper. It was a somber symphony of creation. My hand, almost without thinking, drew a lone lighthouse on a rugged cliff. Its light seemed to search the vast, empty ocean. Oliver, beside me, then drew a ship. It was a strong, beautiful vessel, but it was sailing away, far into the distance. The ship moved towards the edge of the map, leaving the lighthouse behind. Our pens told a story we couldn't speak aloud. I looked at the map, at the lighthouse, and the departing ship. I couldn't hide my feelings anymore. The words simply came out, a quiet whisper. "I don't want you to go," I said, my voice barely audible. My heart felt exposed, vulnerable, but the truth needed to be spoken. I finally looked up at Oliver, waiting. Oliver looked from the map, from the ship he had drawn, to my face. His eyes met mine, full of a shared sadness. He took a deep breath, and then, his own voice quiet, he admitted, "I don't want to go either." Those words hung in the air, a fragile bridge between us. A wave of relief, mixed with uncertainty, washed over me. Then Oliver picked up his brass pen. With a decisive movement, he drew a bridge. It connected my lonely lighthouse, standing on its cliff, to the mainland. And the mainland, I saw, was very close to where his ship was sailing. The sepia ink flowed, creating a path, a connection, a promise. It was a powerful symbol of hope. We finished the map together, our hands often brushing as we worked. It was a world built for two, intricate and full of shared meaning. As we added the final touches, Oliver turned to me, a gentle smile on his face. "I declined the job offer," he said simply. A huge wave of relief washed over me, a warmth spreading through my chest. Months later, we stood in front of our completed collection at the gallery opening. The maps, our journey, were displayed for everyone to see. Oliver's hand found mine, and we held hands, a silent promise. A quiet pride filled me, seeing our shared world appreciated. People admired our work, a testament to our confluence of lines. We had built something beautiful, together. The final scene shows us back at our desk, a new, blank piece of parchment waiting. Our duotone pens lay ready, side by side. Oliver looked at me, his eyes sparkling with a familiar mischief and love. I smiled back, my heart full. We were ready to draw our own world from the beginning, together. Our story was just starting, a new map waiting to be created.
Si te gustó el video, pon me gusta, suscríbete y activa la campanita para ver más historias.